Consider these things, and then we'll unpack them a little bit. As far as the position of things, Judas was in the inner circle. Peter was in the inner circle. The cause of betrayal. Well, it's a great answer. Everybody's loved it since Flip Wilson. Anybody besides me here remember Flip Wilson? Yeah, okay. And what did he used to say? The devil made me do it. There you go. Here's an interesting thing. We just dated ourselves. It's okay. Here's an interesting thing, if I noticed I had forgotten, is if you look through and you see Satan is the instigator in both cases. He plays a key role. But in the case of Judas, it always says Satan entered. Satan enters. And with Peter, it was Satan sifted. Satan sifted. Two different things we need to look at. Motivation. Motivation for Judas was a what's in it for me. What's in it for me? Financial greed, no real belief, nominal at best. Motivation for Peter in his betrayal, fear, just self-preservation, that weak moment in his faith that we need to look at a little bit. The mode, well, it was barter and trade for Judas, 30 pieces of silver. For the mode of betrayal for Peter was simply denying the person he knew, denying the identity and knowledge that he had. Christ's response to both of them, and keep in mind that Christ knew what was going on before it ever happened. He knew from the beginning. And for Judas, his reaction to Judas was forbearance and warning. And for Peter, Christ's response to Peter in his betrayal was forbearance and warning. Judas' reaction to the whole thing coming down, deep regret. But that deep regret focused on self and ended in suicide. Peter's reaction, deep regret. But the focus was not on self, but on the one he betrayed. The result, healing, and then empowerment and prophecy fulfilled. Of course, for Judas, for all of it, even though the outcome was the same, it was prophecy fulfilled. For him, it was cursed and pointless, not blessed and restored. The Easter account, two types of betrayals. So what can we learn from the story? Kind of an interesting thing is pulling all of this together. Last week, on the end of the next step cards, and of course, understand on the next step cards is, well, okay, there's your next step. As if what we're talking about is true, how are you going to use it through the next week? And it was a very simple one. It simply said, I choose to. Dealt with the clarity of choice, I choose to. Now, I know there's some folks, I think they've never even looked at a next step card. But in this case, 90% of the cards came back blank, and then there was a few with some not bad answers. I choose to do this with the Lord this week. And it got me thinking that literally in here, that the entire 90% of people in here chose to do nothing. They chose to do nothing. It was there, it was blank on the card. The cards aren't the be-all, end-all, I'm not saying that. But it did speak of something. Think in Judas's life, there was a whole lot of he chose to do nothing. It was either what's in it for me, or I'm not doing it at all. Peter was another story. So as we wrap all of this up, the thing is that not meant to be judgmental. It is simply this, is if you look at brutally honest on these questions, which one are we more like? You will be a betrayer. Sometimes you will fail. I will too. But am I going to be more along the description of Judas, who would be no to all of those 6 questions, or more like Peter, who you could quite honestly say is probably yes to all of those questions? Which one, if you have to answer, are you on that? And that is letting you know which way you're headed.